making the decisions that are shaping how companies impact the world. In each episode, we sit down with the thought leaders who are proving that building successful businesses and also building a better future don't have to be in conflict. I'm your host, Jeff Davis, co-founder of Circulins, which is one of the fastest growing digital product passport companies in the world. And our special guest today is Jacek Plaza, who's Chief Sustainability Officer at Decathlon Poland. Welcome. Thank you for doing this.
Hi, Jeff. Welcome. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Yeah, awesome. Well, let's get into it. Leadership today isn't just about performance, it's about responsibility. What would you say was your first, I think I see a problem moment in your role?
So you know what? There was a lot of it, but the first one was the beginning when I saw
Mhm.
that the sustainability is not so well connected with the business as usual. I would say it was like going one direction for the sustainability, another direction for the business, and it was the first moment that I saw that okay, if the sustainability will not support the development of the business, it's not gonna be a priority. It's not gonna be important and rather is going to be
Right.
treated as a cost, not an investment. So at the beginning of my role, because also I am a retail guy, came from retail and I understand retail quite good. So when I saw that the sustainability is not supporting retail or at least is not perceived as something which is supporting retail, I said to myself, okay, we need to change that because we need to be in line with the business KPIs, or we need to know how we can support the development of our company, not only be, like a red light for some things or many projects because it's too much polluting, for example, or it's not in line with the sustainability targets. So, how to find a common language between the sustainability targets and the business targets.
So you saw it as it's really important that they see sustainability as an asset, not as a liability.
Yeah, exactly like that. As a
Yeah.
way how we can support the business, how we can develop the business, and of course to think long term about that. Because of course there are some, like punishments connected with the sustainability, with a lot of law, a lot of regulations, especially in the European Union. And yes, it
Hmm.
is important to be also aware of that, yeah, to act on that. But for me, it was much more important to show that sustainability can be an opportunity for the business for the future, to develop for the future, and it needs to be in line with the target of the company. And I also love, the initial definition of the sustainability, which is the development with respecting the needs of the current and the future generations. So when you understand sustainability this way, who will say, no, no, I don't want to play it? Of course, everybody will want to play it, but you need to really understand
Hmm.
what sustainability is.
What's been one of the most surprising things that you've learned about going green inside of such a big corporation?
For me, the most surprising thing was that sustainable development it's such a wide, I would say, scope of activities and such a great potential because it's not only the environmental, let's say the green part. It's
Right,
also the social
right,
part. So when you think about it, there's a lot of things that you can really support the sustainability targets. We can say those 17 sustainability goals and find a role
mhm,
for yourself to play the game to really build the competitive advantage based on that. So you need to really think about sustainability as a wide perspective because there are different needs of the different societies right now and in the future. And of course, for some countries, for some regions, for example, the environmental one will be super important, but for the other, the social
right,
one can be super important. And
right.
I'm working in Poland, I'm living in Poland. So many Polish people, when they hear what's going on with the climate changes, and they hear that, for example, in 2050 in Poland is going to be as hot as in Spain today, they say, "Oh, awesome! It's great! I will not have to go to holidays to Spain." That's the that's the regular person,
Yeah,
regular
they're throwing the
person
towel over their
answer.
shoulders. Yeah.
Exactly, and they are happy about that. So for them, for example, the climate changes are not such a big deal, which can be, of course, a big deal for the people in Spain right now, or in Italy, or in south of France. So it depends where you are and what kind of challenges do you have in your local society. We can say on the or at least on the country level, and then how you want to play it. So for us, for example, and for me personally, in Poland, the most important part that we in the sustainability department and in Decathlon Poland that we can play is to share the sport with as many people as possible. And why? Because Polish society is one of the lowest ranking of the activity rate, we can say. So we are not so active as people, for example, in Western Europe in this case. So it means that for the well-being, for the longevity, we have a great role to play. And of course, we need to act responsibly. We need to take care about the environmental things, etc. Of course, but our competitive advantage can be connected with this, sharing the sport passion and giving the reasons, or realizing the target of health and well-being, good health and well-being from the sustainability targets.
Is there anything else that you think somebody on the outside of sustainability might misunderstand or might not really get?
So of course, so as I told you, I am born in retail and I am learning still what sustainability means. And I think that for many people, it's usually connected with the environmental things, with the ecology, and also quite often is connected with the punishment, with the law, with the regulations. So I have to do something, I need to do, because if I want, I will get a punishment, for example. And we all know what happened in the European Union last years, we can say, how the European Union have decreased the competitiveness comparing, for example, to Asian countries, even to US, which is developing faster than Europe. And one of the things is that we didn't respect, together the environmental things, the environmental reasons and targets, and the business targets. We didn't connect it on the global, on the European Union scope. It is changing, which is good or not, because of course you need to always take care about not forgetting about the, for example, environmental targets and only going for the economical one. The biggest treasury, I would say, is a good balance, because between connecting them, so the economical and environmental social
Mhm.
targets, to connect them together to provide the sustainable growth for the future.
You mentioned, like, some people see sustainability as just the environmental improvements, and you also mentioned, sustainability being an asset for a company, not a liability. Was there something in particular that helped you sort of realize how it's more than just good PR and it was about something bigger than just one or two of these individual things? Was there any particular instance or instances that sort of expose
Yeah,
you to
so
how?
sure. So basically, I'm working in Decathlon Poland for 16 years already, and I'm personally attached to the company, and I really believe in the purpose that we have, which is making sports together through sport well-being for all. And I perceive my role as someone who needs to secure the future of this company, and that's why I am all the time treating it really strongly, like okay, how sustainability can my department, how we can support the company's development, the realization of the company's purpose, not only to be, or even not to be, maybe PR marketing topics like, okay, we are doing that, which is great. No, how can we how can we strengthen the competitive advantage of Decathlon on the market to support the realization of our purpose?
I'm sure you've had to make a lot of trade-offs between, profit and the planet. It's not always like a super easy decision when you're balancing those two things. What's been the hardest trade-off that you think you've had to make, between profit and the the planet, for example?
To be frank, it's not a big problem for us, I would say, because many of the things connected with decreasing with with our environmental footprint help us also decrease the cost for the company. And like, let's take an example of the trash, of the rubbish, I would say. The better you segregate them, the lower number of trash or of the rubbish you have, the lower cost you have, and of course, the lower environmental impact you make. So in this case, a lot of things connected with the environmental impact with the planet, I would say, are also helping us to decrease the cost for the company. And in the other hand, let's imagine that I told you that this social part of the sustainable development of the ESG. So our target is to help people in need and to help to give them the access to sports to the people in need. And what is the outcome? More people making sport. More people making sport are more customers for Decathlon in the future, probably. So in many cases, we are really able to connect the sustainability to the planet targets, I would say, with the business, with the profit. So it's not perceived for sure for me, and I think it's less and less for other board members in our company in Poland for sure. It's not perceived as a cost because we treat it as a real investment or as a cost decrease purpose or initiative.
What kind of person do you feel is required to lead sustainability in a company?
So I think that the person needs to understand both. Understand what the company is, what is the company culture, what is the purpose of this company, and also understand what are the purpose of the sustainable development. And in this case, I would say all the ESG, all the 17 sustainability goals to understand, okay, what can we do? How can we play? And then together with the board, together with the chairman, let's say, to discuss, okay, so what kind of game we really want to play, in which field we want to do something. Because in many cases, of course, you will need to prevent your company, so you cannot do some things, which is quite obvious. But on the other hand, there are things that can really accelerate your company or can boost the growth of your company. Which one of them those are, and which of one of them you want to choose and play?
Yeah, I love it. So it makes sense that the guy from Decathlon is using in like athletic types of terminology, applied to sustainability. That's so interesting. What legacy do you want to leave?
So for sure, I want people to understand what sustainability really is. So how wide and how positive it is, because I really feel that in Poland, a lot of people are fed up with I would even say, ecological topics, because
Mm,
they are a little bit, they were afraid, or and right now they are fed up with all of the marketing connected with that, rather negative marketing, I would say, like to saying to you that you need to do that because the planet is burning, or something. So no,
right.
my legacy is to make sure that people in Decathlon Poland understand what sustainable development is, to treat it as a opportunity to develop and to preserve the purpose of our company and to realize it in the future.
Is there a most important metric that you track?
We have a few of them, but basically, right now we can say that we have three of them. For the planet, I mean, yes. So for the planet, first of all, we are focusing strongly on the development of the circular business models. Why? Because this is a competitive advantage of our company for sure. Nobody in the market have such a wide ecosystem of the services, circular services. Because in Decathlon, you can repair a product, you can rent a product, you can refurbish a product, you can sell your product, you can buy a used product, for example, and of course a new one. So this is one of the parts is connected with a fast development of the circular economy business models, which have the positive consequence, decreasing the CO2 footprint of the company, of course, and decreasing the number of waste. So this is
Mm.
the growth of the circular economy business model is one of them. And when you hear the growth, you can see the direct connection between the company purpose, the global company purpose, because every company wants to grow. So the growth of the circular economy is one of them. The second one is decreasing the CO2 footprint. we are right now looking for a KPI to decrease the environmental footprints, to be, a little bit more wider. But for sure, one of the most important KPIs is to decrease the CO2 footprint. And the third one is how many people, how many beneficiaries of the projects that we are leading we have. The projects which aim to make sport accessible for the people in need. So we are catching a bit the environmental targets, the social targets, and a bit of the connected between the business and environmental targets when you are thinking about the circular economy.
Thank you for that. What's the loneliest part of this role?
It's a tough question. I think it's, this fighting with this idea of, okay, ecology is a cost. I think it's the hardest part. And I sometimes, yes, I am a bit lonely because everybody is thinking about the sustainability as one day is going to be important. And we are
Hmm.
usually, fighting for today's results, thinking about this year. So it's
Right.
usually, I would say, not the first priority, the things that we are doing from the planet KPIs, from the sustainability. And this is the hardest part, but the more people understand that it can be a competitive advantage, that it can help them to develop the company today, tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, it gets easier and easier. But yeah, this is the most loneliness part.
Last thing, finish
Sure.
this sentence. The companies that will win in the future are the ones that.
Are thinking about the future. So the first thing is that you need to really think about the future, where you want to be, who you want to be in the future, and start realizing that. So have your purpose, have your vision, make the project which will help you to get to the vision, to realize your purpose. And that's also what sustainable development is. So the development, we're respecting the needs of the current and the future generations. That's what it is.